In today's video we're going to take a look at a 1976 Grundig Concert Boy 1100 radio. Grundig had several Boy radios in their range. There was the Ocean Boy, the Yacht Boy, the Party Boy, the Elite Boy, the Concert Boy, amongst many others. Looking at the controls, you've got volume, bass and treble, and then you've got piano style switches for on-off, an auxiliary input, FM, long wave, medium wave and two shortwave channels. On the side you have the tuning knob, and then round to the back and we've got an external aerial input, a cassette deck input, an output for headphones, and then a selector switch for 240 volts AC or batteries, and it uses 6 D-cell batteries. When I bought this radio on eBay, it was described as working, but sometimes the dial sticks. I think what the seller intended to say was, the tuner is stuck solid, the radio crackled when he turned it on, and it didn't explode. Anyway, it gives us something to look at on this video. The stuck tuning dial isn't too much of a problem. The oil on the shaft of the variable capacitor gets old and sticky, causing the tuner not to work. I'll show you my fix for this later in the video. There are, however, some other problems with this radio. FM is working fine.
C-Cast music.
But several of the other channels aren't working at all. I think part of the reason for this is that the radio would have been left with the FM switch on for many years, and some of the other switches have tarnished on the contacts, but there's more to it than that. When I first received the radio, these sockets at the back were completely misaligned, so at some time in the past the radio had been taken apart and reassembled incorrectly. Looking at the inside of the radio, this is the variable capacitor here, and the shaft that was stuck is down here. I carefully took a small blob of methylated spirits on the end of a screwdriver and placed it on the shaft, and gradually I was able to dissolve some of the stuck oil, and then I could put some fresh oil on, again on the end of a screwdriver. You don't want lots, just enough so capillary action will carry it into the shaft itself, and after a while got that working just fine. The sockets I pointed out earlier that were misaligned are these ones here on this board, and as you can see this board is completely floppy. It has some tracks that are soldered to the board beneath, and I think with the floppiness those solder connections will have broken, so that's what we're going to look at in a little bit. Okay, I've got the radio on the workbench. I've already disconnected all the wires that I need to from the circuit board, so power here, speaker here, and the ones to the volume and bass and treble over there. I've removed the spring clip here that keeps the tuning wheel on, so that can just come off. And then there's 4 screws that hold the whole tuner and circuit board in, so we'll take those out. Oops, tripod's in the way there. 2 at the top as well. And now I should be able to lift the circuit board complete with the tuning dial out like this. So I'll get rid of the front of the radio and pop that section down there. Okay, so now there was a spring clip on the actual wheel, the tuning wheel that attaches to the variable capacitor. I've already shifted that, and then we've got a couple of screws on here, one over here, and it's quite a nice design because I can remove the circuit board and the variable capacitor and still leave the tuning cord wheel in place, so I don't have to replace the tuning cord. Okay, and that's the entire front tuning face thing. Okay, looking at the back of the circuit board, these are the solder joints from that floppy circuit board on the other side, and I can straight away see this one, the track has torn off the PCB, this one it's got a crack in the solder joint, that one's cracked, that one's torn off the PCB, that one's cracked, that one's cracked, that one might be okay, that one's cracked, that one's cracked, can't tell with those yet. That one's torn off the PCB. That one's torn off the PCB. Those two look alright. Yeah, a bit of work to do there. Bearing in mind that once this circuit board's in place, it shouldn't need to move again. I'm going to initially just try reflowing the solder on all these joints. So if that works, that's a lot easier. Difficult working around the tripod, but still. Sorry about that. Okay, quick update. I've reflowed the solder and mostly that's good, but there's a couple where the tracks have ripped off and snapped. This one and this one. So I'm going to drill a small hole through and put a bridge wire through instead. So let's have a little look. Just using a pin vise for this because it's a lot more controlled than attacking it with something like a Dremel. Feels good. Now for the one over here. Easy. Okay, that's the bridging pins put in to replace the broken tracks. I didn't film that bit because you'd have just been looking at the back of my head for a couple of minutes. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to put the radio back together because I have a feeling, having seen how bad the tracks were, that might have been all the problem was. So I'll just pop it back together. So, quick update, I put the radio back together and long wave and medium wave were working okay and shortwave 1 was working, but as soon as I clicked on shortwave 2 that one didn't work at all, and it also made the rest of the channels that were working other than FM stop working. Now, having taken it apart again, looking a bit closer, there's another circuit board down here and all these joints have got fresh solder on them. So someone has visited this radio before me, and there's even one here with a broken track that they've put a bridge wire through. So yeah, I think someone's had a play with this before and probably gave up on it, and now I've got it. So we shall persevere. Okay, we've made some progress. I did find one of the broken tracks on the board that had been previously repaired. The repair had failed, so I've resoldered that one. And then it was obvious that the switches did need a clean, so I've used some switch cleaner and that's got those sorted. And now we've got a working radio. So, shortwave 2, that's working.
I know you don't listen. I can tell by the...
Okay, and shortwave 1. Not a huge amount on at this time of day. Yeah, shortwave 1, that's working.
And also I did another one.
Medium wave's okay, long wave.
You came up to stay with me. Sorry. I remember the day you tried to talk him into getting between the...
Not a lot on long wave.
Needed.
And FM was fine anyway. Okay, that's about it for this video. If you've enjoyed what you've seen, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. There'll be more vintage tech and repairs coming soon. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in a future video.